So what's your podcast about?
Okay, this is making me feel really uncomfortable. Not like it. Is my mic on? Okay. Well then, let's go.
You're checking out the Quiet Parody Podcast, and this is part 2 with our guest, Aliana.
It's going to come to me, you know? So.
Yeah. I feel like it alleviates a lot of needing to always know.
And be in control.
Yeah, there's one line that says, lean not on your own understanding, meaning that, like, if I don't understand why it's happening, like, try to, like, lay back and be like, you know what? All right. If like, my thought always goes to, let's say there is a God, right? Like, for those that don't believe, like, if there is a God, then that would mean that he knows better than me. Mm-hmm. If there's people on earth that are smarter than me and know more than me, and there's a God above them, that by logic means that God knows better than me and knows why these things are happening, or like sees things that like I don't see. My life would be totally different today had I gotten what I wanted. So sometimes getting what I want may not be the best for me. So like this guy who did this analogy, he kind of sits outside and he talks about God, and people can come to a mic and ask questions, and this girl says that she doesn't want to, I don't want to adhere to your God. I don't want to, like, you know, why does God, like why do I need that in my life or whatever? Why do I need him to tell me what to do? And like, I get that. I don't want to be told what to do. So the guy said, well, let's put it this way. He says, you know, it's kind of like, he says, like when you have a kid, he goes, I have a 3-year-old daughter. He goes, I have to tell her to brush her teeth. She doesn't want to brush her teeth. But what happens is he knows that if she brushes her teeth, that it's good for her, but she doesn't want to do it. He says, you know, sometimes, you know, but like, I know better. I'm the father. And he was trying to tell her, like, you know, because if she had it her way, he said, then she'd be eating ice cream and candy all day. Yeah. And she'd be very sick from that. So sometimes as people, it's like, you know, I don't like when my dad tells me what to do, but the thing is that he may know better. And if I had it my way, I would indulge in all these things that hurt me more, actually. So,
like, what's it actually doing to help me?
Yeah, it doesn't, like...
Feels good in the moment, but lots of things feel good in the moment. Doesn't mean they're necessarily good for us in the long run, you know?
Yeah.
That reminds me of that, like, love... I don't know if you all heard of a loving kindness meditation. I believe it's called that, where it's like, you know, the first part of the meditation is, you know, send your love to your loved ones. Think about that loved one. Think about Parker. Think about Henry. Think about, like, you know, whatever.
Something similar.
Yes. Yeah. And then the next part of it is, you know, send loving kindness to somebody that you maybe don't get along with, that you don't like, or whatever, which is always a little bit hard. And then the third thing is sending love to the whole world, to all the people of humanity or whatever, you know. So that kind of reminded me of what you were sharing, and I'm just curious. I know we've talked about a little bit about spirituality, in our conversations in my living room. I remember. I'm curious about what your thoughts are about spirituality. Does that kind of come into? That's fine. How does that come into play for you? Is that something that you're exploring, curious about, doesn't kind of go on your radar? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think I'm more... I don't even know if spiritual is the right word. I've had instances where I've felt... I've met somebody and I'm like, you know, I was meant to meet this person, or like the way that this particular thing happened made me who I am now. Maybe there is something in the universe making these things happen, but I don't pray to a God. I don't really think that way. Sometimes I'll even say to like family or friends, kind of in a joking way, like, hey, can you, like, you know, if there's a God out there, can you pray for me for this particular thing? Because it's like, for me, I think there's also this surrender that's involved when it comes to religion. Oh, yeah. And you're surrendering to this God. You're praying to hope that this God will help you through it. And for me, I have like a block there. Yeah. So for me, I don't know if it's something that's right for me. I mean, I was raised Catholic. Just don't really, you know, I mean, I'll celebrate holidays with my family, and I'll have
Christmas and all that.
Yeah. But I have like these little pieces of spirituality or religion in me, like something that I've noticed that my mom does, which I think is very sweet. It hasn't happened for a while, but there have been instances in the past where we would be out at, I don't know, a convenience store or a shopping center, and, you know, there's another family there and there's a little, like a baby. And my mom will just strike up a conversation, be like, oh my gosh, your baby's beautiful. How old? Like just a little conversation. They'll have a little thing. And my mom will end it with God bless. And I'm like, wait, that's actually beautiful. Like I like that, like, form of like showing love to the community. So like I have like sprinkles of those feelings, but I don't really practice anything necessarily.
When you said the surrender piece, that totally resonated with me. Like, you know, for me, it's the control piece, right? Like, you know, like for me, you know, like I take back my control, my will every day, like, you know, all the time, you know, the idea that, you know, like, oh, I'm giving up my life and my will to the care of this thing that I can't like hold and I can't see and I can't like, you know, like I can't like, you know, I can't like call them on the phone and be like, hey, God, what up, God? You know, no, I totally understand that, you know, and I feel like, you know, there's this illusion of that control for me. There's this illusion that control is safety. So if I am controlling my life, I'm safe inside of my life. Like I can like handle whatever. Like I don't need help from God or from my family or from my friends or whatever. It's all me, you know, but like that illusion of safety, has consequences. It makes my anxiety ramp the F up, you know, when I'm trying to control everything, when I can't control anything, you know, so I'm trying to control my finances, I'm trying to control like my cat, I'm trying to control this thing, anything at work, period. I can't control any of that. You know, I have this, when I have that illusion of control and I'm really buying into that, like I feel completely discontent, irritable, irrational, discontent. I feel all of those things, you know, and it's only like after enough of that where I'm like, okay, I need to kind of just like let it go and just like, universe, ding ding, universe, can you help me? You know, just as best as I can, because, you know, even those of us who are of faith, you know, have faith, like I feel like we all have those moments of like, you know, like you're like, you know, you think everything's going great because of you, and then when everything's going to crap, it's because of the universe, right?
Yeah.
I have that paradox a lot within me, you know?
No, that's actually why people say they don't even believe in God because of like why do babies get cancers and why are there tsunamis and why are there this, and it's kind of like, you know, attributing like these things like to God, but then it's like, all right, that's cool, you know, we can attribute, you know, for these bad things, so then there's no God for the good things either. Like I'll go and I'll see the moon and there's just some sort of connection between me and like I look at things and I'm like, no, no matter what I'm going through, I'm like, no, there is something that I can't explain that is inside of me. I believe God gives, and especially in the beginning, God gives people a lot of more grace. Like if people are like really searching or really like open-minded to like, I've heard stories where like, he'll be like, all right, you're looking, so because you're looking, I will show you something wild.
It reminds me of, have you heard of the phrase self-fulfilling prophecy before?
Yeah.
So it makes me think of if you're searching for things to be bad, they're going to be bad. Or if you're searching for like good in people, like you'll find it.
Yes.
I feel like that's a version of
that. Reminds me of law of attraction as well. Like if you focus on the bad stuff, the universe is going to match you. Like here's the bad stuff. But if you think about the good stuff, you know, it's going to give you more good stuff. And it's kind of led to like my a thought I was having hearing you share, John, is, you know, and I would love to hear your thoughts too, Aliana. I know that you've lived life, even though you lived 29 birdie years, you've lived life. You know, you have experiences. Like if I say that there is always something good out of the bad, like how would that resonate with you? Do you feel like that's a true statement for you? Not true?
I wouldn't necessarily say like this thing that's bad has something good. I think if you allow yourself to find something good, it can happen.
Yes.
But I will bring up a story. I know we were talking about this a little bit before we started recording, but I've been having a lot of wrist issues and it's been hard. I've been feeling really limited. And of course, I don't want this to be happening. It has been a pretty bad, frustrating, taxing experience. But if I can find something in it that has taught me something about myself, it has helped me, reminds me of you don't want to take for granted your mobility or your ability to do certain things because you might not always have those abilities at some point in time. So I'm not going to say that this injury has something good about it, but it has given me a new piece of insight about appreciation for myself.
Yeah.
But like, to bring it back, it's not good. It's bad.
No, I think that is a beautiful response, and I can hear that. I hear that you know, I feel like if we're able to pull something good out of a challenging, bad, no good, very bad, not fun situation, it helps make the situation more tolerable, and it helps it helps our resilience. You know, because I literally, same story right now with, like, you know, my frozen shoulder stuff. You know, which I feel like I talk about all the time, but it's literally ruining my life. You know, that, like, you know, to remind myself that I have 3 other very, very functioning limbs that can do very beautiful things in the world, that can move beautifully, you know, and just have to, like, kind of just, like, keep pressing on, because what's the other option? To sit in pity? Not doing that. That's not good for the MH and the noggin, you know. So
That's
what do you think about Joanna? Is there the idea of, like, in every bad or challenging situation that something good comes out of it, or can come out of it?
Yeah, that's my whole recent life, where it's for me it's like stuff that I take out of the Bible. So there's a verse that says, what the devil meant for evil, God will use for good. So the world, in my personal belief, if just to share it, is that the world's broken. Death's not supposed to be here. But because the stuff was broken, and now it's like, now there's death, now there's sickness, now there's tsunamis, now there's all this stuff, and there's the devil that's going around like, all right, now I get to, like, lie and, you know, try to get to people's minds and get them. So the devil's going, he's like, you know, I'm gonna use this for evil. And then, like, even though maybe you got someone pregnant you shouldn't have gotten pregnant, maybe you got in a situation that whatever, like, but still God is always there and swooping in and making the good out of it, making the good out of these things. My father dying, like, that's not a good thing. I didn't want my dad to die so young, and, like, you know, I wouldn't be the man who I am today. You know, like, I just saw, like, my apartment flooded, and, like, you know, everything was flooded, and like, I was so tired and exhausted, but, like, my floors have never been cleaner because I've been mopping them all the time. And I looked at it and I'm like, my place is actually cleaner than it was before. I threw out a bunch of junk that I didn't need. Like, it's always, it's like when you had your, like, foot thing, I would see that maybe you stopped doing that, but then maybe it led you to something that was, like, even more better.
It was,
like,
yeah.
and like that's so, like, that's that's just my I get excited speaking about, like, now when something, like, you know, doesn't work out, or relationship, or a show, or, like, an event, it didn't happen, or even the podcast when it's not, like, you know, now that I look, like, when I look back again, they say hindsight's 20/20.
It is.
It's like so much,
so real.
Yeah.
so much rich spiritual. There's so much good stuff is in it, and that's why, like, I never would tell anybody what to believe, how to believe. Because, like, what I have is so fulfilling, and because I try to fulfill it with everything. I try to fulfill it with cars, girls, status, money, like, everything. And now what I have is, like, for free, and, like, I have it, and, like, that's like where I don't want to tell people about God. I want to show people by, like, hey, what's going on, man? Like, how are you doing? Like, you know, you hungry? You're this to that, like, you know, and then, like, hopefully they'll see that, like, they'll see it, and I don't have, like, that's how I talk about it, by them actually see my joy. They're like,
love it.
I can't fake the joy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just there's some things you can't fake. You know, when someone's lying, but, like, this guy's lying. But then there's some people you're like, no, like, that's the real
deal right there.
That's the real deal.
I can't believe.
How about you?
I lost my train of thought. I was about to say, I can't believe we've been talking for an hour already. Like, it's wild. For me, no, I completely relate to what you're saying. You know, that, like, you know, I kind of already shared, but, you know, that if I believe that there's nothing good that comes out of the misfortunes in life, my life, anybody's life, then, like, I'm really doubting in the power of the universe, and in the power of God, and in the power of people, you know, and the power of agency, and the power of change, and all that kind of stuff. You know, I think it's a gorgeous thing that we have free will, and we can change our minds at any time. You can change your mind about God. I can change my mind about
Yeah.
political things.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's the
Probably
thing.
not. But we all have this power of free will, and and I think through our experiences, that's how we have the catalyst to change, because maybe we have experience that can change our life, Like, meeting John changed my life. Like, meeting Aliana has changed my life, Like, it's a beautiful thing. And I am curious before we kind of wrap up, because it's been an hour already.
I can't believe it.
And you've been amazing.
Thank you so
Iconic.
much.
Love it. I love having you on. I think you're such a bright light. And, the one thing I did want to kind of talk about before we kind of wrap up is, as a creative, and John can probably relate to this too, as a creative who's always creating and hustling and working it and dealing with life outside of your business, et cetera, et cetera. Like, how do you stay on track? How do you keep focused? How do you take care of yourself with all the energy that you put into your work?
Wow.
That's a lot.
Yeah. I think as a small business owner, I feel like I've been like eating, sleeping, breathing the business. And it's a lot of work. And lately I've been struggling with having this work-life balance because I always feel like in the back of my head, I think it's also being a creative person where I'll just be living life and existing, and I'll think, oh, that could be a great drawing, or that could be a great reel for Instagram, which I don't really like that I'm thinking about Instagram when I'm offline. But like I'm thinking about like business things, or it's another way that I also like to think about it too is sometimes people will say, this is a little off topic, but some people will say like, oh, I have a hard time figuring out what to draw lately, or I just don't know, I'm in a creative rut. And I like to say, I feel like you're just gathering inspiration. You're gathering experience.
Yes.
Like, I feel like for me as a very creative person, I could come up with ideas fairly easily because I think this is less about like spirituality and religion, but like I have my own version of openness and curiosity. And somebody recently asked me like, how do I, develop my style? And I think it's like just being curious about things. If anybody's listening and doesn't know, I typically do a lot of like duck and geese art. It's very fun. And after doing it so much, my brain just instinctually thinks of like the experiences that I'm in and thinks, what if I like make geese in that environment? Like silly things. Or I went to a new park a few weeks ago and I saw these guys fishing and I thought, how funny could it be if I like made this illustration of these ducks just fishing? Like, that's just so silly and funny to me. I haven't made it yet because all the ideas are spinning. But
Yes.
like, to answer your question, how do I take care of myself? I think my way of doing that is trying to spend time with people and talk about my experiences. And then also, I've never really thought about it like this before, but taking care of myself by not doing certain things. So going a little bit back about, I've been seeing a lot of doctors for my wrist, but like doctors for other things too. And I've had experiences with ones that were basically had no bedside manner. And this was back in the fall, and I told myself, I am not seeing this doctor again. I need to find a new one.
Yeah.
And sure, it's a pain to get a new doctor. But I think that was a version of taking care of myself and knowing I'm not going to tolerate people speaking to me in a certain way.
That's right.
It's not one of those, how do I take care of myself? Oh, I take a bath and I feel great. No, I think sometimes doing the things that are really uncomfortable will like hopefully set me up to take care of myself in the future.
30th birthday wisdom right there. I love that.
That is awesome. That's
Yeah.
that's like how a lot of us handle in recovery. In 12-step recovery, that's what we do.
Boundaries and balance. Woo.
Yeah,
I don't know what that is. I know as now, but that's what my therapist when I was early in sobriety was like. Sobriety is about the 2 B's. Honestly, life is about the 2 B's: boundaries and balance. I can't be everything for everyone, and I can't give everyone everything. Was that a clip right there? I don't know.
Eminem, when he went early on, like because he had a nonstop work all the time, and he got to a point where he says that and Akon said this is how Eminem works. He said he works 9 to 5. He treats it like a 9 to 5 because he wanted to spend his early years with his daughter growing up.
Yeah.
So he treated it like a job, and I was like, whoa. He said. He took a lunch break. He said, I went to the studio with M. He took a lunch break. He came back, and 5 o'clock, he didn't even finish the verse. He just left. He's like, all right. And he's like, and Akon's like, you leaving? He's like, yeah.
That's good willpower.
Yes.
That's something that I'm struggling with knowing how to just stop.
Yep. As a creative myself, like I got inspired by like being like, you know what? Like yeah, you need to like put the headphones down because like you're really stuck on this song and like it's just not gonna be your best. Like taking a break and walking away, and
It's
I think
better than pushing through, right?
yeah, I think as she was talking, maybe I thought about this before, but like creating a workshop maybe for like creatives, because what happens is creatives, I hear it all the time, but they don't see that we have so many similarities that like to like let them know that they're not the only ones thinking like I think. How I think is like I'm always on, never off. When I'm away from the mic, I'm thinking about what to do on the mic. I'm always thinking of the next idea. I have a million ideas going through my heads. It's hard to focus sometimes, but like that's how we get stuff done. But also knowing that like it's a normal thing to like feel like, oh, I'm not getting enough traction, I'm not getting like how can I manipulate it to where people will want to share it. But it's like, no, but I want to be an artist and I want people to like my art just for having art, and like I don't want it to be a corporate thing and yada yada. Like you keep going on and on.
Sounds
and
like
on.
you two.
Oh, you're inside of my brain.
Collaboration right
So
there.
like only artists know this, and I'm
Yes.
talking about musicians, painters, illustrators, tattoo art. Like all of us have like on and on and on. So maybe I'll do like a live YouTube workshop for just people who wants to log on as artists, and social media too. Social media is art. So like
Yes, it is.
people that come on and want to share and talk about like you're not alone. Share your story. Share like techniques. You know,
Yes.
talk to each other, and like maybe we'll do that. Who knows?
I love that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Awesome. Well, my friends, we have gotten to the top of the hour here. Aliana, thank you so much for coming and joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Snaps and
Snaps.
And what's this one called?
Clock it.
Clock it.
Clock it.
We're clocking it. Something that I didn't tell you, which I'll tell you now, is we end, which you probably know. You've watched the show and listened to us.
Yeah.
We end each episode with a jewel, a pearl,
Affirmation.
a gem, an affirmation, something that you want to leave with our audience. So I'm going to leave that in your brain for a second.
Okay.
I'm going to go to my lovely co-host here, John Jeremy. What do you think that you want to leave our audience with today?
I want to leave them with, every day. Actually, I was thinking about this today. Screw what I was just about to say. Here's
just
a new
kidding.
one. I think like because I was listening to comedy today, and I don't know. Maybe if you could fit in a half hour or an hour of like listening to like your favorite stand up, or like get some laughs in every day. Get some laughs in, even if it's 30 minutes. You know, you go to the gym, like, listen to like 15, 20 minutes of a stand up that you really like or whatever, because even if you heard it before, because I was listening to old stuff from Aziz Ansari, and I was just like laughing while I was working. I was like, oh my God, like I need this in my life.
Laughter is literally medicine. Medicine
It's
for your
such a
soul.
medicine.
For your
Get some
soul.
laughing every day. Try to do like a half hour a day, just like you would walk for a half hour a day. Like listen to some comedy for a
That's
half hour a day.
it. I love that.
Yeah.
I'll go next. Give you a moment because I want your voice to be the last voice that we hear. Miss Geese, Miss Aliana. I love your idea. I hope I'm not stealing your idea, but be curious. Like I was curious about your spirituality. We've talked about that before, because just because something's important to me doesn't mean that my friends necessarily feel the same way. And I'm curious to like see where you're at, so we can, have conversation and see where there's similarities and differences. So if you're curious about something, about your friend, your mom, your dad, your cat, if your cat will talk back to you, I guess, be curious and ask those questions. You never know where that's gonna dig you into with your loved ones. So that's my gem for today.
I love it.
Happy to inspire. My little gem. Okay, I was thinking of a few things while we were doing this. Going off of creativity, I think everybody listening to this should try to find more ways to be creative. And when I say that, I mean, it could mean a lot of things. It could be problem solving something fun, or drawing a little sketch, or like giving yourself permission to be creative. I think when you're growing up, when you're a kid, you could be as playful as you want, expressive as you want. And as you get older, you start learning about these social rules. Oh, I can't scream in a grocery store because that's good. Oh, you probably shouldn't be doing that, right? But like, kids are doing these things because they don't understand the rules of the world. I think we need to create our own rules of
Create our own creative chaos. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's
Let go.
let go.
Yeah.
Let go. Just
Just be as silly as you can. I think that's how I've attracted a lot of really great people in my life, because I'm being this version of myself that I want people to see.
Yes.
Can I do a little plug at the end as
Yes,
well?
please tell us about your business as we say
Do
goodbye.
all the plugs.
Do all the
Yes,
plugs.
because I realized we didn't really talk about the specifics of the business,
Yes.
but I'll just share a little thing. I do a lot of art and collage workshops on Long Island, and I do them at different coffee shops. Generally, they're independent coffee shops. And I think it's a great opportunity for people to find new ways to be creative. And honestly, anybody can do collage. It's fun, it's expressive, it's joyful, it's playful.
And where can people follow you? Where can they get the
Yes.
411?
Yes. I actually think you said it at the beginning
We're
of
doing it again.
the
Do it
episode.
again.
CozyByAliana.com is my website. And then Cozy by Aliana on Instagram. I post way too much on there, but you will see updates there as well. And thank you both so much for having me on this podcast. This
Thank
was
you.
great.
I'm so glad that you came and you did amazing.
Thank you so
did
much.
amazing. I did amazing.
You did
and you're
amazing.
amazing. So thank you all for joining us, and we'll catch you next time. Good night.
Bye.
So what's your podcast about?
Okay, this is making me feel really uncomfortable. Not like it. Is my mic on? Okay. Well then, let's go.
Hey, everyone, look here. Quiet coyote. Quiet coyote.